If the situation with we'll get into it, obviously, the situation with the baseball player didn't happen, would you be good right now?
I would be in the same predicament.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. When I was raided, they didn't even know about him.
So this was just a cherry on top for them.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh,
they had no idea. Zero. In fact, I'm the one who had to tell them. So what happened to me is, I'll make a long story short. I got raided in October, and in January, ESPN came to my home, a reporter. She showed up at my door and said, I have a very big story that I'm about to publish here, soon. I'm getting my sources, more and more sources together. I'm going to give you an opportunity to address this, which I respected, actually. And so we sat her down with my attorney and we listened to what she had to say. And what she had to say was exactly what I didn't want to hear, which she knew that Shohei Ohtani had some involvement. His wires were coming through to my business. So I'm like, all right. My attorney's like, we need to go tell the government. Because the one thing I didn't do is I didn't talk to the government about my people. None of my agents got in trouble. I didn't give up people. The only thing that occurred was whatever was in my telephones. They had electronics, of course. I had no defense to that. But I made a deal with them that I'm not going to give up people. So I had to go tell them about Ipe Mizahara because she was going to run the reports and they were going to find out. Better for me than ESPN,
Can you explain who that is? People who don't know.
Yeah, ESPN or Tisha Thompson.
The
Ipe Mizahara.
The player.
Ipe Mizahara is the interpreter for Shohei Ohtani, which is
for the
obviously the biggest Dodgers baseball player in the world, the best player that ever set foot on the planet.
Damn, like that?
Oh, but not even close.
I'm not a baseball guy. Is he really that good?
He's Babe Ruth times 5.
What the hell? And
Yeah.
he's playing right now.
Yeah. He is truly the best athlete that has ever walked the planet, in my opinion. Tiger Woods, for my era that I've seen, Tiger Woods and obviously Michael Jordan are my two choices. And this guy is better than both of them, only because he does something that no baseball player other than Babe Ruth has ever done. He pitches, and he's like the best pitcher or one of the top 3, and he bats, and he's one of the top 3. I mean, as an athlete, he's one of the fastest players in baseball running. He's like 6'4". He's a statue.
Japanese guy?
Yeah.
He's 6'4"?
Yeah, he's a beast. I mean, I've been around him.
What
He's a
did he
beast,
eat, dude?
I don't know, but whatever he ate, it's amazing. I'd like to get some.
Yeah, 6'4".
Yeah.
Japanese?
I mean, he does it all. He does everything you can imagine.
Oh,
So-
I just knew that he was super famous, and I've never watched him play. If you're a sports person is saying I'm going to watch a game.
You would actually, even if you're not a baseball guy and a sports guy, like when it comes to baseball, you'll have an appreciation. Go on a day when he's pitching, because he's pitching and batting. You'll never see that in your lifetime.
I didn't know that about baseball.
Yeah. Well, because either you're a pitcher or a hitter, right? He does both. So every 5 days he's on the mound pitching, and then every day he's playing as a hitter. I mean, you're getting like 2 players in one. And
I didn't know baseball has different. I just didn't know that. I thought everybody just did everything.
No. You have a
watch
position
baseball like that.
And let me take it a step further. Imagine Patrick Mahomes, okay, being the quarterback he is. Do you watch football?
Of course.
Okay. So imagine him after he throws a touchdown.
Strong safety.
Correct. No joke. Or
Like
linebacker.
Deion Sanders. Remember Deion Sanders tried to play wide receiver for a minute?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even more so, the best in the sport at both positions.
I got to go see this. And the fact that you're talking so highly of
He's
this man.
in LA.
Yeah. This just shows that you're a sports person,
Yeah.
because it's like this guy, not the reason you're getting in trouble, but it's a reason why it's so
Big.
is
Right.
because of this guy. And you're still like, he's the best player.
Yeah.
That's when you know you love sports, man.
Yeah, no, I have to give him credit. He's amazing. And, I feel bad for him that he's got a little tarnish to his name because of this. Because I know he didn't gamble. Everyone thinks he did. And I get why. From the outside perspective, it looks that way because the wires are coming from his bank account. I do believe the question mark that's really, really, out there that I question is, did he know that his interpreter was borrowing or using some of the funds? I think that's a little bit in question. I think that kind of got, misconstrued. That's my opinion. But I don't think he gambled ever.
The law is that a pro athlete can't gamble on sports, period, right?
No, actually, each sport is different. The law is this, though. They cannot bet on their own sport for sure.
Oh, no. That's
Yeah.
conflict of interest, man.
That is for sure. But each, like baseball, the law for baseball is they're allowed to bet on like NFL, but it can't be through an illegal bookmaker. Has to be a legal entity.
Oh, so is that why Pete Rose got in trouble because he's been on his own sport?
Yeah, he was my client too.
No, I heard a little bit about that.
Yeah,
I just remember
great
as a
guy.
kid, he was that guy got kicked out of baseball. That's what I knew as a kid.
Right,
Like that's
right.
the guy that got kicked out of baseball. Just the picture of him sliding.
Yeah, he was a beast.
That's what I thought he was, and then I heard that he got in trouble.
He did, and it's sad because he never rigged a game, bet against himself. I mean, what he did was wrong. I mean, he knew the rules, but he's just such a competitive guy, and he loved gambling that he just bet on himself to win. I mean,
That should be legal. You bet on yourself.
I mean, I actually agree with you, but the reality is he definitely knew. But it's really sad he's not in the Hall of Fame, especially before he died, because he deserved that. Like, if he rigged the game or cheated the game in integrity-wise, I get it. He should be banned for life. But I feel like he really
Scapegoat.
he took it hard.
Okay, so you're getting ready. When you come out, it's a new lease on life. You have a whole nother thing. Before, I know we're backtracking, but you said you used to have a regular job and a regular life, but you said you started gambling, starting these rings when you were young. Is this still going on as your regular life is going on?
Yeah, so I was a commodity trader. I worked at a commodity firm after I got the job, as you mentioned earlier, as a waiter. I got an opportunity from customers coming in, and I took it, and they hired me as a mailroom boy.
Wait, sorry. You're a bookie, and one of your clients is like, "Hey, you want to work for us?"
Well, let me go backwards. When I was 16,
Oh, you're a kid when this happened.
I've been booking since I was.
I knew that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about when you get the job offer.
I was 18 when I got the job
you're
offer.
a kid.
Yeah,
Okay, I get it.
And so I went to this company, and it was like Wolf of Wall Street. I didn't even know. I got a cheap tie at Marshall's, and you drove down to this company in a $400 beater, and they had Ferraris and Mercedes, and it was actually in Irvine, off Jamboree and Barranca.
Yep.
And I was like, "What is this, man? This is incredible!" And it had that. Everyone had headphones on, and they're buying and selling and moving their hands around just like you'd see.
So really like in the movie.
Yeah, 100%. And I didn't even know what the hell it was. I was like, this is awesome. I don't care. These young guys you could just feel the vibe of money, you know, and like action. And I love that. So I walk in, and this guy grills me in an interview for an hour and a half. And it wasn't the same guy I met at the restaurant. He was not
Oh, wow.
No, I was like, why are you're 18. I told him that I just knocked up my girlfriend, my ex-wife, which was another problem. I'm not even responsible myself yet. But he's like, you haven't gone to college. You have done nothing with your life. You know, I'm like, damn, this guy was so kind at the restaurant, tipping me extra and shit. And he just belittled me. And I was like, no way I got that job. And I left the interview. And he called me back like a week later and came back, and I got belittled again. And after about 30 minutes, I said, his name was Mickey. I said, Mickey, listen, you pretty much told me what a loser I am for the last, 2 interviews. All I could tell you is there's nobody in this company that's going to work as hard as I do. Nobody. I have more grit, grind, determination than anyone here. I'll guarantee you that. So if you think I'm retarded and you don't want to hire me, I don't need to hear about it anymore. And I said it very respectfully. Yeah. And I said, if you want somebody who you can mold and make a sponge and who's going to learn and become an amazing whatever the hell you guys do here, I really didn't still understand what the hell it was. I'm that guy. If you don't, there's no reason to sit here and tell me how stupid I am. And he respected that and hired me.
Nice.
And it was great. What I didn't realize is I was starting in the mailroom. And the mailroom sounds like a job, and it was financially. It was $1,200 a month. But back then, that was actually decent for me. And it was 60 hours a week. But in that mailroom position, I was his personal assistant. I had no idea. So I was getting molded by this guy who was a mentor that I'll never forget. He's one of the smartest men I've ever met in my life. So getting that sponge of working with him directly, and he was very intent on always teaching people about life and like giving back, and training. And he was so strong-minded. So I started developing, got better and better. And then I was like, what the fuck are these guys doing? Oh, they're trading commodities, trading places. Eddie Murphy movie, right? Basically, instead of stocks, it's gold, it's soybeans, it's corn. I'm like, I want to do this. So when I would get the phone calls, because there's no internet then, the call would come in, and I would be the guy who would transfer to the broker of the day, the phone call, a sales call, right? And we had headsets. I would hit mute right when I sent it through, and I would just listen. I'd hear the sales call. I was supposed to hang up, but no one knew. So I was just sponging how these guys are selling. I already sold the Orange County Register. I was selling baseball cards. I did a lot of things as a young boy that developed like kind of charismatic sales training, but not real sales. So I'm like, I can do this. So I said, what do you have to do to be a broker? You have to pass a Series 3 exam. It's the 7th hardest test in the nation.
Oh.
And I never went to college, so I fucking grab a book and I make a copy of it, photocopy the whole, it's like this thick, and I just start studying. And this is a time in my life where gambling got set aside. I was having a child. I mean, that's what motivated me. So I just studied, and I went to the owner, Mickey, and I said, listen, after about 6 months, I gave him a stack of flashcards, and I said, I'd like to take the Series 3 exam. And he's like, you're in the mailroom. Like, we don't offer that until you're an assistant broker. And you can work your way up to that, but one step at a time. And I said, no, I want to take it now. He's like, you're not ready. We're not going to sponsor you. It costs us money. So I handed him the flashcards. I said, well, why don't you ask me some of the questions? He's like, well, okay, you're serious, huh? So he asked me some questions. Of course, I answered them. And he says, all right, well, when we promote you to an assistant broker, instead of waiting, since you've studied, I'll get you to take the exam. And I said, that's not good enough. I said, I've already proven myself. I said, tell you what, I'll make you a deal. If I don't pass the exam, you can fire me. He's like, you want to risk your job and your career? I said, you're damn right I do. I will pass. He's like, okay. So he gave me an opportunity. I went and got a 72 and an 83. You have to get a 70 on both parts. I barely passed the rules and regulations part. And it was one of the best days of my life. I drove back to the commodity firm with this government-regulated Series 3 exam license from the state. And I immediately said, let's go. Hire my replacement. And so we did. And then because of all that, he put me with the top broker of the company. So I got even better sales training. And we pretty much were number one every month. And then about a year went by. I put in my time, and an opportunity arose, and my first taste of real success. He says, we're losing a lot of business to discount brokerage firms. And I'm going to give you an opportunity. I trust you. You work with me directly. You've proven yourself. I'm going to have you open the company. I said, let's go. So 20 years old, I opened this company called Newhall Discount. And within 6 months, I was the number one broker in the company. Within a year, I made $350,000. And my home that my parents lost, because they were divorced when I was 12, my dad was an alcoholic. They lost the home, and my mom moved to a mobile home park, which was really demoralizing. I purchased that home. And at 21, I moved in with my 2-year-old daughter. And I was sleeping in my parents' room, which was really eerie.
That is weird.
Yeah, it was really cool. So meanwhile, I've always had this, addiction to gambling and loved it. So now between like 19 and 21, I was taking bets again because I had a little bit of money.
So now you have some breathing room.
And I have guys who are young, successful, doing drugs, hookers, and gambling because they're young, just like you see in Wolf of Wall Street. Mm-hmm. Some are family guys, whatever, but for the most part, they're just making way too much money.
For their own age, yeah. Uh-huh.
And I said, you know what? I'm going to monetize this. So I started taking action. And
That's
guess what?
Spark came from.
I built a big business starting then. And then once the internet came aboard, I saw scalability and I went for it. And that's when I really built a business. And about 9 years later, 30 years old, I sold my company, a commodities firm, and I never looked back. I've been a bookmaker ever since at the biggest level.